Hi guys, welcome back, and today I'll be doing the next part for What If Raditz Killed Gohan. Now last time we left off with the group having a fight against the Universe 6 team in a tournament. With them managing to win thanks to Goku's new transformation, it leads to us heading into the next arc. Now, we join our heroes with Bardock and Goku training for Whis. The pair have grown a lot stronger since we last saw them. However, we won't be covering anything to do with these two right now. You see, in the future, the planet's in danger. Or is it? You see, I spent a good bit of time trying to figure out how to do the future timeline for this What If. However, I don't think this timeline can be too interesting. With the likes of both Goten and Gohan having the Super Ikari and having one another to train with, they are pretty big threats. The Super Ikari is stronger than that of the Super Saiyan 3 form, meaning that these two are already very massive threats alone, but there's two of them. Meaning that when the Buu saga comes around, Deborah is fodder to these two, and they easily deal with him. Meaning Shin lives, meaning Beerus lives, and the two would probably take up an offer to go and train under Shin, becoming somewhat of apprentice guys. With the likes of Shin training these two, not only do they get stronger and possibly draw the Z sword, it also means whenever Black shows up, they're there to at least defend Shin. Meaning that if Shin lives, Beerus lives in this timeline as well. So when Black does show up, it's nothing that they can't deal with. He probably would still be a pretty big threat, but with them having trained under Kai's, both having a transformation stronger than that of the Super Saiyan 3 form, they are really strong in comparison to what Cannon Trunks was. So it's hard to say that Black would win, or even survive the first encounter with the pair, but if by some miracle he was to survive, he wouldn't make it long. If he survived the first encounter, got a Zenkai and came back, they could always have called in Beerus to come in for the next attack. Beerus is still around, meaning that he could deal with Black with ease. Meaning that the future is safe in this timeline, and I don't have to go into too much detail. And yeah, I hope people can live with that. Now, back in the main timeline, a little bit after we had just saw the pair, we see the likes of Goku tending to his farm, with Goten sparring with his grandfather in the background. With the three having come out to spend the day to do a little bit of training, while Goku does some, farm work. However, Goku has spent the last few days wanting to get some action, and asks his father if they should go back and train with Whis once he's finished with the farm. Bardock is down and agrees to do so, and they all begin to help Goku finish up with the farm. And soon the pair head off to go and get Whis' attention from Capsule Corp. Goten does want to go along, however Chi-Chi is a bit reluctant to let him go. So, for now, he has to stay on Earth. Now, once they get hold of Whis and get to training with Whis, things go like they did in canon. Goku's still got the Zeno button here, and he heads off to see him and asks about the tournament they had talked about previously. And soon, everything for the Tournament of Power goes down like normal. The group need to get a team of 10, and they also need to be ready for an exhibition match they have to do. I won't cover the expedition matches too much, however they are won fairly easy by the team of Goku, Bardock and Goten. These three are very strong and can deal with these problems quite easily. So yeah, there's not much of a threat there. Then of course comes the part where they have to recruit the rest of the team. So upon arriving back on Earth, Goku, Bardock and Goten decide that they will just head off and get some recruiting done. Goten's going to go with his grandfather, as Goten knows the location of where everyone lives a bit better than Bardock does. And they will soon meet back up and figure out what to do from there. Now, the likes of Goku decides he wants to pick up the androids and Krillin. So Goku would head off to pretty much do what he did in canon, picking up Krillin and 18 at the same time, and then Goku would head off to try and recruit 17. And that would mostly go normal. However, on the island with 17 is the last android Goku wanted. Android 16 lived in this timeline, and he's fairly strong. If 17 could have gotten to the point where he was Super Saiyan Blue level, I think it's fair to say that Android 16 could have got stronger as well. Where it might not be as massive as Android 17, it's still probably an improvement. Now, with Goku having recruited the androids, pretty much in a normal way like he did in canon, likes of Bardock and Goten had actually picked up some pretty decent fighters themselves. They recruited Gohan and Piccolo, which was the two obvious choices. However, they also pick up the likes of Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi lives in the same house as Goten, she's still a fighter in this timeline, whereas she might not be as strong as the Saiyans or the androids, she's probably as strong as Krillin, which is pretty useful to have around. She also knows how to work with a large majority of the team that Bardock has recruited, so this is a pretty good pickup. Things happening in pretty much the same time frame, it means that there is still a small bit of time to train. Of course, Bardock got his recruiting done a bit earlier, and him and the people he had picked up have started to train anyway, whereas everyone else will be meeting the group at Capsule Corp, which is mostly just the androids and Krillin. So Goku heads back to his own home to see everyone training, and they discuss the plan and even elect Bardock as the team captain. Bardock has been in many battles where they are massively outnumbered or outmatched, so Bardock was a good selection to choose for a team leader. Alongside this, they understand where everyone ranks in terms of power. They understand that the Earthlings are probably the weakest, but they still have a good bit of power behind them. And after a little bit of training goes by, everyone gets ready for the tournament, and soon, upon meeting at Capsule Corp, and Gohan running everyone through a plan he had come up with, the same plan he come up with in canon, they head off to the world of Void. Things mostly begin normally, with Universe 6 and 7 having a bit of a catch up before the tournament. Goku and Bardock get to meet the Universe 6 Saiyans properly, and also get to see Frost again, which is still weird to everyone. After all, he kept his nice guy persona in this timeline, so it's weird seeing him, being so friendly with everyone. Now, things soon begin with the tournament, and Gohan implements the same plan as in canon. However, of course, the likes of Goku, Bardock, and 17 all split off long after the tournament begins, but everyone else does stay nearby or in the formation. Now, for the most part, things go fairly similarly up to the first battle between Goku and Jiren. However, there are some things I will bring up. As Krillin makes it further than his canon counterpart, Frost isn't playing sneaky and ringing people out who aren't ready, and actually just calls Krillin out to have a fight. At first, Krillin is a bit reluctant, however, soon, after a while, he does have a match with him. The match is much more light-hearted, and unfortunately Krillin does lose, but he managed to stay in for longer, and managed to get a one or two more eliminations. Alongside this, the likes of Ribrianne and her team might be dealt with a bit easier. Thanks to the likes of 16 being here, the trio of the androids can deal with the fighters quite fast, and unfortunately their love just isn't powerful enough, as they are ringed out by the androids. Eventually, the battle between Goku and Jiren would have come round, and unfortunately, in this timeline, Goku has skipped out on some forms and some techniques which really helped him in this battle. However, he has also picked up some new transformations, so let's see how this one goes out. Now, Goku's original approach is what he does here, jumping up through his transformations to see which can put some push on Jiren. Goku at first has an attempt in his base form, which doesn't do anything. Goku is slightly stronger than his canon counterpart, but this is nothing notable. Next, he jumps up to his Ikari. This doesn't do much, and then he jumps up to Super Saiyan. Doesn't do much, however, it means Goku has a bit more power, and he's trying to gauge out where Jiren stands to him. He understands that the next thing to do is to jump up to the Super Ikari, and this does a little bit more than Goku could have done in canon, as it's a pretty intense transformation, and even though it doesn't do much, it manages to nudge Jiren a little bit. Then Goku jumps up to his Super Saiyan God form. Once again, this isn't too far from canon, with it meaning that Jiren has to start blocking some of Goku's hits. And Goku knows his next transformation should be able to get Jiren to move. He goes into his godly Akari form. This makes Jiren have to fight back. Goku smiles at this and the battle begins. The pair begin to rush around the arena, with Jiren having a huge lead on the likes of Goku. However, as the battle continues, Goku soon kicks up his power to the next level. Goku jumps up to the Super Saiyan Blue form. This does level out the battle a little bit, however, Jiren is a massive wall to overcome, and even the Super Saiyan Blue form isn't helping Goku here. With the battle going on for a little while, and Goku realizing that his form hasn't actually changed the battle a lot, and Jiren is easily matching Goku's power, and in fact has more in reserve, and Goku can tell this. Saiyan spends a minute thinking, and comes up with an idea. Jumping back, he begins to charge up a Kamehameha, and Jiren will allow Goku to do this. Remember, he let him charge a goddamn Spirit Bomb. He's confident enough to take this attack. Goku begins to do it as the Saiyan stares down Jiren. throughout the entire charge, and just before he fires it, Goku's energy spikes up massively. Jiren is caught off guard a bit as the attack is flung towards him and connects. Actually begins to push Jiren back, and the alien shows off a bit of his true power to stop it. It has left some singe marks on his hands, but nothing major. With him looking over to Goku, he sees him looking slightly different. Goku smiles, saying, "Sorry to trick you like that, however, I don't know if I have the power to beat you." With Goku laughing, all of Universe 7 looks on, trying to figure out what form Goku is using. It looks like Super Saiyan Blue, but it seems different. With Bardock explaining how it's the combination of the God form and the Super Ikari, saying how Goku has been working on it for ages, and only really got it down recently, with this power being a very interesting one to Jiren. They fight for a while longer, however, it soon becomes clear that even Goku's strongest new form is outmatched by Jiren, and Jiren begins to beat Goku to the point where he is nearly unconscious, and goes to throw him out of the ring. However, thanks to a quick save from Piccolo, Goku stays in the arena. Goku having wasted a lot of energy and taken a lot of damage, the likes of Chi-Chi and Piccolo give Goku some energy, which helps him get back up, on his feet, before Piccolo says how he should stay out of some fights for a while. Goku agrees and starts moving around the battlefield with Chi-Chi. With a few things changing here, one of them being the fact that he never battles the likes of Kale and Khalifa. Thanks to the fact they haven't got the Super Saiyan form in this, they were knocked out earlier in the tournament, which is a bit of a problem, but it just means that Universe 6 is down a few fighters. Cabba doesn't do as well either, and he's knocked out as well. Hit goes out in the very same manner, and eventually the final fighters for Universe 6 are the Namekians. However, they are also ringed out by the likes of Goten, Gohan, and Piccolo, having easily defeated them. Now, the tournament has been going on for a while, and unfortunately, Universe 7 has lost some fighters. Krillin, like I said, was ringed out by Frost, but it's alright, Universe 7 did avenge him. Bardock ringed out Frost, just to make it even. But Universe 7 has lost fighters like Chi-Chi, Android 16 and 18, and even Piccolo were ringed out. Piccolo was ringed out in a very similar way to Canon, where he was just caught off guard in a very stupid way. The likes of Chi-Chi just couldn't keep up with the ever-increasing power of the tournament. 16 is in a very similar situation to Chi-Chi, even though he is a lot stronger than her, and also a lot stronger than he was in the Android saga. Thanks to how he was built, he couldn't grow as fast as the likes of 17. He's stronger, yes, but nowhere near that level, and is soon ringed out in a battle. Alongside this, the likes of Android 18 gets ringed out against Anilaza like she did in canon. Eventually, the final standoff happens, with the remaining fighters of Universe 11 being the same. As for Universe 7, the likes of Bardock, Goten, 17, Gohan, and Goku, who has gotten a lot of his energy back from avoiding fights, gets ready to fight. They decide to split off into teams, with Goten and Gohan fighting Dyspo. 17 will hold off Topo for a while, and Goku and Bardock will fight Jiren, being the strongest available. The fights begin, and we'll cover Goten and Gohan first. Goten and Gohan versus Dyspo is a close match. The brothers have great synergy and are able to almost keep up with Dyspo, but the rabbit is way too fast. Luckily, the pair do have the Super Ikari form, which helps them out massively, but when he's moving so fast, they can hardly keep up with him. Slowly, they do begin to figure out his fighting style and even manage to land some hits in on him. However, once they do this, Dyspo ups the speed even more, meaning that any advantage they had is lost. And slowly, the boys are getting beaten quite badly. However, luckily, Gohan has a trick up his sleeve. Dyspo at some point stops his onslaught and tells the boys to just give up. He's won this battle already. However, the likes of Gohan says, looking straight into the rabbit's eyes, "I'm not all for fighting like my father. However, when the time calls for it, I will fight, and I will train. For when the time comes, I need to defend my planet. Luckily, I have found a way to do that with some amazing power. My father found this form years ago, and he left it. I wanted to train to get it once he started training with Beerus. I haven't really had a chance to work on it how I wanted to, and haven't even tried out what I'm about to do yet, so I hope this works." Gohan drops out of the Super Ikari, with him jumping up to the Super Saiyan 2 form. Dyspo looks on in a confused state. He can see that the energy of, Gohan seems massively different. With Gohan then beginning to strain, his eyes flickering in and out of the Ikari colours, with Goten watching in awe, Gohan begins to strain his body even more, desperately trying to grip this form. Eventually, a massive bright light glows out, with Gohan looking up being surrounded by massive flashes of lightning, and his hair standing up in its orange light. Gohan has achieved the combination of Super Saiyan 2 and the Ikari form, making the Super Ikari 2. With the hybrid smirking, he looks at Dyspo. With him rocketing off towards the rabbit, he actually goes faster than Dyspo was expecting, catching him off guard and begins to land flurry of blows into him. With Gohan and Dyspo beginning to clash, however, Gohan clearly has the advantage. Dyspo wasn't ready for this sort of power, and in fact, Gohan might be outspeeding him at this point. Gohan begins to beat into him very easily, and eventually rings him out. With Gohan dropping out of this form and taking in deep breaths, he had never practiced that state before, and it really caught him off guard of the power of it. Goten rushes over to his brother to check on him, with Gohan giving his younger brother a thumbs up. The two begin to analyse what's happening everywhere, and soon realise that they need to go off and help 17. Over with 17, his and Topo's fight hasn't been too interesting. It has literally been 17 avoiding Topo as much as humanly possible and barraging ki at him. Luckily for the fighter, he is pretty tricky to deal with, thanks to the fact he has infinite energy and everything. However, Topo's power and strength is enough to make this fight relatively even, and this has led to the likes of Topo and 17 both having taken a good bit of damage. However, once the likes of Gohan and Goten join the battle, it puts the fight heavily in 17's favour. The pair only use the Super Ikari form, Gohan not wanting to risk using the Super Ikari 2 again in case they can get on to fight Jiren. With this turning the tide of the fight, 17 begins to hang back and blast the, well, Universe 11 warrior from a very far distance, wanting to try and avoid combat as much as possible, while the two hybrid Saiyans deal with him up close and personal. Of course, Topo outpowers them, however, thanks to their great synergy and their pretty decent power, they are able to land some significant blows. Over time, they slowly begin to push Topo back, and with no one here to piss Topo off and make him go into his God of Destruction mode, he stays how he is. With the fight being relatively even for a while, eventually the likes of Topo manages to ring out Goten. However, when he rings out Goten, he leaves himself open for a massive attack. Gohan puts a lot of strain on his body for a quick flash. Jumping up to the Super Ikari 2, he gut punches Topo, winding him, as 17 rushes in and barrages him up close and personal with a massive array of blasts, slowly ringing out Topo. With the two happy they managed to do this, they're annoyed that Goten had to get ringed out for it. From the stands, Goten shouts out that they did a good job, as Beerus gives the boy praise, and Whis even takes an interest in him, wanting to train him. Seeing a lot of potential in him, but for now they need to win this tournament. Over with Gohan and 17, Gohan needs a moment to catch his breath. He has taken some significant damage, and the Super Ikari flicking it on like that had really taken a number on him. 17 tells him he's off to help Goku and Bardock, and Gohan says how he will catch up the moment he's got a little bit more energy in him. The pair give each other a nod as 17 begins to rush over towards Jiren. Over with Goku and Bardock, they have been fighting Jiren, having to push themselves to the utmost max to even hold their own against him. Goku is using the godly Super Ikari, while the likes of Bardock is in Super Saiyan Blue. The two have managed to push Jiren a bit, and they are doing slightly better than the canon version of Goku and Vegeta. However, the pair can hardly even push Jiren back a bit, and are having to work together to hold their own and stay in this arena. With them not being able to pay too much attention to what's happening around, they don't understand that their team has actually got a fair lead right now. With some time passing, the pair are reaching their limits. Jiren hasn't even begun to show his true power yet, but when a barrage of blasts hits Jiren in the back, actually making him wince in pain a little bit, the group turn around to see the likes of 17, with his hands in a battle-ready stance. Jiren is confused and looks over and actually realises that Topo and Dyspo had been ringed out. Annoyed at how weak his teammates are, and gets ready to fight the likes of 17. With Goku and Bardock pulling themselves back up to fight, they transform once again, getting ready to go once more. Jiren, not really worried about this, clashes with the three. And the three are actually able to hold their own fairly well here. Goku, Vegeta, and 17 were able to do fairly well against Jiren in canon, and a stronger Goku and a slightly stronger Bardock are able to do pretty decently here with the help of a 17 who was around the same strength or slightly stronger, thanks to the fact that 17 was stronger when he was created. With the three clashing for a while, eventually another power erupts somewhere, with Goku looking over to see the likes of Gohan in the Super Ikari 2 form. The boy's hurt, but he's willing to jump back into the fight, with him rushing down and beginning to join in with this clash. The four are able to hold their own fairly well against Jiren, and while this is all happening, Bardock is desperately trying to dig deep and pull the power his son is using. Over the fight, he slowly flashes in and out of it, and eventually becomes the godly Super Ikari. With this power being enough to catch Jiren off guard, they land some decent blows in. Jiren recollects himself and gets ready to fight. He fights much more seriously as time begins to run out. Eventually, only a minute is left. All the fighters are left in the arena. The Universe 7 are stubborn and don't seem to want to go down. This is annoying Jiren, who has hardly taken any damage. He has taken some collectively over time, but not enough. He is severely injured. The group, wanting to make one last stand, pulls themselves to their feet, most of them out of energy. Goku, Bardock, and Gohan can only really muster up the power to go Super Saiyan. With this making Jiren laugh, he gets ready to fight. With him throwing a massive blast towards the group, 17 erects a barrier and the others feed energy into it. However, this one barrier is cracking very easily under Jiren's power. With everyone feeding as much energy as they can into it, eventually it leads to the likes of Gohan and Bardock running out and dropping out of Super Saiyan. He smirks at this as the others curse. 17 gets ready to fight, however, two blasts fly past him, hitting the likes of Gohan and Bardock, sending the pair flying. The pair use the last bit of time they have in the arena to give Goku as much energy as they can, the last bits of their own. With Goku feeling a massive surge of power, he's able to jump up to his Super Saiyan blue form once again. With him hardly able to hold it, he gets ready to fight. Him and 17 rush back into the arena once more, however 17 is easily knocked away as Jiren concentrates on fighting Goku, wanting to destroy every bit of trust they have in teamwork before they are eventually erased. With Jiren beginning to fight Goku, and is easily overpowered, and soon almost gets flung out of the arena. Thanks to a quick assist from 17, who, much like his sister did for him, kicks Goku back into the arena while sacrificing himself, gives Goku some energy, and allows Goku to stay in the arena for a little bit longer. Goku, now having gotten energy from the likes of Gohan, Bardock, and even 17, is reinvigorated and almost back up to his max capacity. Jiren sees this as the timer begins to tick down. Goku goes back up to his godly Akari form, and he prays that he can buy enough time. Two begin to clash once again, and Goku's newfound power is able to help him a little bit here. He's obviously broke through his limits a few times in this tournament, and now he's able to do a little bit better. However, Jiren is still a massive wall, and he just can't overcome it. Goku's back is against his wall, and he's doing everything he can to stay in this fight. He's pulling out combinations, the Solar Flare, the Kienzon. He's trying to replicate Android 17's barriers, trying to use things like the Special Beam Cannon, Hell Zone Grenade, the Riot Javelin, anything he can. Everything he does is poorly done and not doing anything to Jiren. Jiren slowly gets Goku into a position where Goku is going to lose, and the reality kicks in. Goku's on the edge of the arena. He's reverted to his base. He's about to lose in a tournament he wanted to do for fun, which will cost his family, his universe, and everyone he cares for to be erased. And Goku hates this feeling. He thinks back to when Gohan died all those years ago. He feels a sadness. He feels like he messed up once again. And with the weight of his universe, his regret for setting up this tournament, and the desire to win and try and save the day, his body calls upon Ultra Instinct. The first time he calls upon it, he activates his Saiyan form. All the gods stand up amazed, seeing this. Goku's training with Whis has finally paid off, and the angel smirks. With Goku not quite understanding what's going on, his body begins to move on its own. He's not able to land any hits on Jiren still, but the gap is closed. Goku begins to dodge everything Jiren throws at him. With the timer slowly running out, Goku's Ultra Instinct is also slowly fading. As battle goes on, Goku is feeling himself slip out of the form even more, and he tries desperately to grip onto it. And soon, Jiren lands a punch on Goku, snapping him out of it, but Goku doesn't fall out of the arena, and the time runs out. The last two people standing in the arena are Universe 11's Jiren and Universe 7's Goku. Zeno is impressed, amazed, and shocked at the battle he just watched. All the gods are also. With everyone looking round to try and figure out what happened, the Grand Prix spends a moment talking to Zeno, as they decide that the winner will be the person who got the most eliminations throughout the tournament. With the numbers being tallied up, Jiren actually managed to rank up a few eliminations, only managing to get 4. However, Goku managed to eliminate all of the Ninth Universe on his own. Being 10 fighters, Goku wins by default. Jiren is shocked and annoyed. He spent too much time passively meditating, and now, when it came down to a draw and a sudden death, he lost. The likes of Goku smiles at the fact that he got so excited he took down the trio The Dangerous Universe by himself, and also some other eliminations he made throughout the tournament let him be in this situation. With the likes of Zeno calling Goku the winner, the Universe 11 is erased. However, they're not gone for long. Goku, getting the wish on the Super Dragon Balls, wishes for all universes in the tournament to be brought back. And the Tournament of Power sort of ends in the same way. Of course, Goku activating Ultra Instinct happens slightly different. It was more of his body needing to find some way to match Jiren. But I do not believe it's unreasonable. He is trained under Whis, he understands the fundamentals, it's all in him, and in the last minute where his body needed it the most, running low on energy, back against the wall, and his universe on the line, he found the right catalyst, leading to him becoming Ultra Instinct, and thanks to Jiren seeing Goku to be quite a weak opponent, he didn't go all out, and this led to Jiren losing. Now, with this done, everyone heads back to Earth and celebrate. It's quite a weird moment as Goku realizes he only won through dumb luck. And the likes of Whis says how they will begin training with this Ultra Instinct form as soon as they possibly can. Goku happy to hear this, Bardock also wants to try and learn the form. And everyone gets praised for how well they did in the tournament. And luckily for 17, he gets his boat. With that done, this arc ends here. And this part ends here as well. I will be doing the Moro arc. I really like the Moro arc, but I need to reread it at the moment. And luckily, I just brought Lotus the Super Manga, which covers a large majority of the arc, so I'll be reading that to do so. Now, some things I want to talk about here, just quickly. I hope people don't mind what I did with Ultra Instinct, but I feel like it was correct. It was the right moment. But if you have a problem with it, I do apologise, and I hope you can live with it. Now, of course, there are some things I want to bring up about this arc. The fact that I jumped through most of it, and this part is still like 22, 4, 5 minutes long. I do apologise, but I don't want to cover the tournament in power in a lot of detail. It would be very difficult to do. Most of the time, I'll just give a rundown of the major fights that happen in here, and I'll also sometimes bring up how people are eliminated. This is probably how I'll deal with it in the future, unless, of course, I feel like there is major changes throughout the tournament. Now, then there is the Godly Super Ikari. This form is actually weaker than the Super Saiyan Blue form, which is something kind of weird to think about, but it's how it would technically work. Because if Goku was to use the Kaioken times 20 in his Super Saiyan form, it would be stronger than his Super Ikari, so blah 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 blah, that's how it would work. Which was a weird thing to think about, however, Goku is slightly stronger in this timeline, thanks to some serious training throughout, even though he missed out on a lot of his techniques, having the Ikari and some much more rough fights throughout the show really did help level everything out. Now, anything else I want to cover? Not particularly. I just hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I wanted to originally do it quite short, so I'm trying to end this pretty fast. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you all have a great day or a good night, and hopefully my next wave should be What If Universe 6 and 7 were 1. Hope everyone has a good day, and hopefully I'll see you next time.